Good morning and welcome to our information hour. This is actually already our third, and we are very much looking forward to telling you about this year's projects and upcoming ones. Since we only have 1 hour, I think it's good to just get started. And next slide, please, Andreas. First of all, this meeting is already being recorded, just so you know, and it will be shared with you afterwards. And also, like last year and the year before, we will make it available on our YouTube channel so that you can watch it later. Next slide, please. As always, our meetings follow strictly our code of conduct, which is also going to be shared with you afterwards. And if you haven't signed it already, please just read and sign it and return it to me. If you are a TipCheck engineer or if you have been already in our meetings, physical or online, it's likely that you have signed it, so you can just ask me by email. I think everybody is muted. I was going to say just to make it nice for the meeting that we will all mute ourselves, and but we do welcome your participation. So if you would like to say something, comment, just use please the raise hand function, and then you can comment or ask anything. We will have in the end some time for questions, but you are welcome to speak during the meeting. Okay, a quick look at the agenda. So first we will do just a quick introduction. Maybe I'll start actually with myself. So my name is Minna Skagen. I'm operations coordinator at EiiF. Next year will be already my 4th year here, working with Andreas and also Luis, and who is our technical director, and of course working with all our members and TipCheck engineers. After the introduction of EiiF as well, so who we are, what we do, and why, we will this time introduce all our projects by the field of activity. So we have 6 fields of activity, and I think like this, it will be nicely split into the different topics that we are working on. Right at the end, we will tell you what's in the pipeline, and then there will be some time for your questions and or comments. So European Industrial Insulation Foundation, or EiiF, it's shorter to say and easier to pronounce, was founded in 2009. And what we try to do is to promote insulation as a top-of-mind method for saving money, saving energy, and reducing CO2 emissions. We have over 50 members. I will soon show you the split between how the members are divided in contractors and manufacturers, consultants, and so on. And here you can see the purpose of our foundation, which I won't say here, but you can read it. The primary task of our foundation is to initiate the implementation of concrete projects. So in total, at the moment, we have 55 members. We have 16 premium members, 42 members in different categories. We have smaller companies, we have consultants, distributors, and here on the right-hand side, you can see that the split between contractors and manufacturers is quite even. And also we have distributors and the others, that really means like consultants who are working on their own. Now we are arriving at our vision, mission, goal, and target groups, and I will now hand over to Andreas, who will tell you about it.
Thank you very much, Minna, for this introduction. And I will do that very quickly, but we also think it's good when we do the information hour to also give an update to our members about our vision, mission, goals, and things we do. But yeah, the vision, very general, improve our climate by using more and better insulation. And in better insulation, we think about anything coming with circular economy, recycling, better performance, and whatever you can think of to make technical installation even better than it is already. Then looking at the mission, if my computer allows, is that we have added this year the technical installations. So we widened the focus from the real big global industrial players like chemical plants, refineries, very much to the HVAC business. So the smaller companies as well, and to integrate them into our activities, because we see large potential, especially in HVAC, heating, ventilation, cooling systems. And I saw that Alexander, you're with us today, who has provided us with more than 1,800 examples of heating rooms and these kind of equipment in hospitals, elderly homes. And I used just some information, Alexander, this week, because we are talking in Germany with a big hospital and they wanted to get some experience with hospitals and how big the potential is. So thanks again for your contribution, very helpful. And these days, with the high energy prices, high gas prices, you can imagine how important the topic of HVAC is. Also, Thomas Peach organized a TBI workshop and with Schwartmans, and we had also contractors there who are mainly working in this business, and we can really see and feel that also there is a very big need. So a good decision by the foundation board. And then the goal, let's never forget, in the end, what really counts is that we managed to introduce, in the best case, mandatory energy efficient insulation standards for industry. And of course, we want to increase the number of insulation inspections. Sorry. I will also talk about the tip check trainings planned now in December, and we will have some next year's. And the booking situation looks actually quite good. Okay, target groups, just very quickly. We talked to the policymakers, Brussels, a lot this year in Germany with the support from the German associations and our members there. And in the Netherlands, I will show you, we have quite achieved a nice success with RWO. And of course, we are talking to industrial stakeholders directly. So installation users, customers, and of course, our installation providers. So let's say our members. Good. The activities we have, that's also very quickly, because most of you are really members and up to date with this. The last one flying in, the EiiF Academy, is a bit new. So that's to give an umbrella and a real brand for all the training activities we do. And this last circle illustrates that all what we do, and you will also see it today in this information hour, is somehow interrelated and connected with each other. Good. So EiiF Academy, as I said, that's a new idea born in May at our General Assembly. And the idea of the EiiF Academy is that all what we do already, our tip check trainings for engineers, ambassadors, scouts, TBI trainings, go under the roof of this brand EiiF Academy. But it also opens, and it's planned for next year, that we do at least 6 online sessions powered by our members, where we offer the opportunity to innovations, new technologies. Maybe super insulants is one of the topics we have already in the back of our head. And a presentation there from Gabriele Gärtner. She's a tip check expert on the training this year in May, working for Evonik, and she will do a presentation about new innovations in super insulation systems and many more. And it's a training platform also for you, where we can offer a platform to train maybe our tip check engineers, our network, our community about latest innovations, new tools you provide. So this is further to be developed with all of you together. And it has already had a very good start. And we will come back to that when I'll talk about the TBI workshops, which we did this year, which is also under the umbrella of this EiiF Academy idea. And that brings me to the next slide. So I think it was last week that we did the TBI workshop at Schwartmans in Wesseling near Cologne. And it was a very nice interactive exchange. You can see also the engineers quite in action throughout the workshop of Schwartmans. He's even laughing. So we had a lot of fun, but it was also great to experience how easy it is to use the TBI app and how well it works if you want to quickly get an idea of the savings potential. You see the typical agenda here. I don't go for the general, but let's say the political, economic framework conditions, they are almost changing every day now. So that's meaning for me always updating the presentation which we have. The new perspectives for technical installation, of course, as well. And then we talk about the savings potential, the tip check methodology. We give a lot of case studies in these trainings. And then there's this practical TBI app training. And of course, in the end, we have some question and answers. This can also be booked by you. So the price is 1,500 euros plus the travel cost. And we come to your group, your employees, and we do the TBI training. It's about half a day. It's already planned next year to do one for our ISO partner, IPCOM member here in Switzerland, the former Regisol. We will do one again with ISO Swiss because that was a nice success this year. And we will do a training for Bole together with Andreas Regel. Bole is back as a premium member, which we very much appreciate. And that's really nice. They immediately booked for the employees a TBI workshop training. And that's just to encourage also you. It's really nice, interactive 4 hours, giving a lot of information, but also practical training on how to use the app and to fight climate change, but do good business with it. Okay. Then we had an online training under the umbrella of the EiiF Academy. We all know there's new standard. The VDI 2055 and the ISO 12241 have been updated. They will calculate in the same way in the future. It's just that the Germans are a little bit slower than the international ones. So the ISO is published and we're still waiting for the VDI 2055. It's all there, it's all on paper, but for some reason it's not there yet. Okay. That brings us to the tip check program. The tip check program is kind of in a renaissance. So we are getting more demand and more requests, and we will of course also show why. To give you a quick update on where we are, you see that we have about 100 certified tip check engineers from 25 different countries and 30 different member companies. You can see that Germany with 23 is still the largest number. You can see that in the Netherlands we have only 6. We will need much more there next year because there's a new law starting at 1st of January actually asking for tip checks. But we will also touch upon this when we talk about our lobbying activities. Then we have training courses, about 24 organized. The 25th and 26th will be now end November, beginning of December. And we have 26 registrations in total, a fully booked German course. And since yesterday, I think we have 9 registrations for the international one. So there are still 3 places left, not a lot, but be fast because it will also be in about 10 days. And digital trainings are in the pipeline where we want to tailor the training to energy managers and energy audits. And we are developing a virtual environment where you can actually simulate being in a plant and doing the TBI audit. That's an impression from our May training this year. So you can see that there is a lot of interactivity, but there is also some theory. And of course, we have many tip check engineers on board. And I'm already looking forward to the next trainings. And I'm really happy in looking at these pictures of the great time we had this year in May. It was a fantastic training, but I have to say, like all the other trainings before. Good. Next training courses, 28th to 2nd December. So this is really in 1 week, more or less. And we have 4 places available. If you know anyone who wants to quickly upgrade himself to a certified tip check engineer, don't hesitate and let him know. The German training is fully booked, but we will have one pretty in the first half, second half of next year, scheduled to do trainings then. Okay, what this new, what the next tip check trainings will see, and of course all the tip check engineers in the next refresher training, we will give an introduction. The estimation function has been developed and is finalized now, and I will just switch from here to the function. So it's a browser-based tool which you can use online, and the idea of the estimation function is, and like in a good cooking session, I prepared. So let's just edit this information I prepared. So all you need to do is actually you can call your customer and you can check with him. Are you working? Is this a refinery, a chemical plant, paper and pulp, food, whatever, machinery? And you choose the sector your client is working in. You set the currency you want to use, the energy unit you want to use, and an energy price, and you ask your client for his thermal energy consumption. That may be in some cases for the client not too easy, but in principle they should really know what's the difference between our electrical consumption and the thermal energy consumption. And based on this thermal energy consumption, knowing the fuel he's using, and then also putting the CO2 emission price, I put it at 80 euros per ton now, you can choose if we want to upgrade the entire plant. So we put everything, let's say, to an energy class, let's choose that, to an energy class B. You can insert your contact. So this is a reference to Luis, who is actually the brain behind all of this and developed it. It's just that he's living in an area where Friday is the weekend already. So this is why I'm presenting and not Luis, but he's doing a fantastic job here. And when you have all this inserted, you just click a button on estimate. And based on the methodology we developed for our study, looking at the temperatures and the use of the different temperatures from low temperature until 100 degrees, medium temperature 100 to 300 degrees, and then high temperature above, depending on the sector, how the distribution of these different temperatures is, we can estimate with a very rough ballpark figure the potential for your client already by phone. So if we insulate everything to an energy class B and we upgrade all the existing system to an energy class B, you can see how big the energy savings potential actually of this company is. And if you know in advance that, okay, in my example, it's 48 million euros, maybe I used a lot of zeros, it's definitely worthwhile to invest some money for a tip check. Let's maybe get rid of 3 zeros here to do it like this. And just to show you the difference, if we go just for the damaged and uninsulated surfaces, we estimate it's still 26,000 euros he can save. So still worthwhile for a tip check engineer to go and to inspect the plant. So that's the new estimation function. And this will be provided to all the tip check engineers, and we will give you a quick introduction in our next tip check refresher training. That brings me back to, the information hour presentation. Okay. Looking at standardization, which is the next pillar we want to go further into. The most important, and that's, we just had a president's team meeting this week. So if anything goes wrong, the only thing which can't go wrong is this standardization energy classes norm for Europe. So that is our highest priority. And of course, I can see Stefan Debold is with us. And we have a great group of tip check engineers who helped us develop this work item proposal. And also FIW Munich, I have to mention Roland Schreiner and Karin Wiesemeyer were very, very supportive. So we are waiting every day that the Dean, the German Norming Institute, is publishing our document for the first inquiry, which means the standard is written, it's there. Luis took the technical lead on it. I think we have very nicely simplified the idea of the VDI 4610, which already defines energy classes. And we're just waiting now that Dean is publishing this document, and then all the international norming institutes will give feedback and comments and tell us what we need to change, maybe not a lot. What is very good about it is that whatever you do in the calculation, neither if you use the VDI 4610, which is already published, or this new European norm, the energy class and the maximum heat loss allowed will be exactly the same. So the standards are also in line or aligned and work in the same way. I think what we managed in the international group is to facilitate the understanding of the standard and how it works. So the main idea there is really that an asset owner would just define, without thinking a second about the insulation material, the way he wants to have it, I need an energy class system B. And then the plant builder, the one who's planning the plant, he can actually identify the indicative space requirement for the insulation solution. So for the energy class B, I need to use 200 millimeters, for example, and then he knows, okay, there has to be some space next to the pipe, not only for the insulation, but also for the workers to install it. And then it's you as the insulation experts who need to know, okay, for this kind of application, hot or cold, I use closed or an open cell material. I need to take care that the surface temperatures are not exceeded, and I need to show that the energy loss, the heat loss is not above the maximum limit required for the energy class. So that is really facilitating work for the asset owners, for the plant builders and the planners, agencies, and giving a lot of expertise back to the experts, the insulation experts. So one of the most important standards also for the lobby work we do, because if this norm is out, we can ask for minimum requirements. And we can already see a small success in the Netherlands. They even make a reference now to the VDI 4610 in the new obligation which they have. So they have an inspection obligation for companies starting on the 1st of January, and there they make a reference to the VDI energy classes, and we are informed by the one who's responsible for putting that into this new law in the Netherlands. He knows that there will be a European norm and just said, let's put the German guideline for now, but we know in 1-2 years we can change it to the European norm, and then we are the first who have it already in our national law. So it also shows very nicely how these activities are linked to each other and actually kind of push each other in the right directions. Second important, do you know of any inspection routine guideline for technical insulation systems? We were asked by BASF, and nothing like this exists. So now with the German chemical sector and the AGI, we developed the AGI Q07. And also here, it will be developed first on a German level, but the idea is, of course, to make this available for all your markets and in the best case, even internationally. For now, the development is like this, that the Technische Ausschuss is working on this and has some great ideas how what we have first developed together in AGI Q07 can even be further improved. And we are waiting. It may last until mid of next year until this is the work has been done. But also this, of course, will be a driving standard for the work you do to recommend and consult your clients. There's a steam pipe outside for 10 years. He hasn't done any maintenance on it. He even never inspected it. To go there with your tip check service and to tell him this guideline tells you this steam line should actually be checked every 5 years, for example. You didn't do it for the last 15 years, so maybe now is the time to check if everything is in order to avoid CUI, but also to avoid unnecessary energy losses. So also an important guideline to become a standard one day for the work we do. And then I want to go a little bit more into detail about the multiple benefits of insulation. We've been talking about it before. It's getting more and more concrete. Also here, EiiF, I'm as a person are engaged in a work item proposal to be presented to Senelec. We are working on this. And the main idea is actually that these multiple benefits even further accelerate the payback time of insulation projects. I will give you a quick example how that could look like in a typical tip check situation. So you have a client and you will calculate with your tip check that he's going to save on his energy bill about 25,000 euros. This is because he's using less energy and he's reducing his CO2 emission cost. The next step is by insulating, there's less noise. The working conditions before were, let's say, 33 degrees, and they go down to 22, will improve. And because of that, the people working at these machines in this environment, they have less sickness days, and the client, the insulation user, is actually paying less days where nobody's working because he's sick at home. And this can be evaluated, and this is exactly what the standard will do. How much money in a standardized way can you estimate you will save because you will have less sickness days because of this energy efficiency measure? In my example, I just put 10,000 euros. What may happen also with it, you remember in the TIPCHEC trainings, we always say, we are insulation experts. We are not production or product experts, but of course we do know that sometimes also the product gets better. Maybe less waste, and also this can be estimated in cost. In this example, we just put that because of reduced waste and a 5% better improved product because we have constant temperatures and let's say not some fluctuations there. I put 20,000 euros. The machines will fail less frequently, and therefore, again, there's less downtime, there's less stop. Another 15,000 can be estimated. So the total savings are actually 70,000 euros. So you can see the multiple benefit, 35% is what we do in TIPCHEC today. That's the energy and CO2 savings. But 65% of the savings we never considered before. This amount is actually something not included in our TIPCHEC services today. And this standard will give us a tool. And of course, we will train that in the refreshers and in the new TIPCHEC trainings as soon as it is out. How do I calculate this additional benefit and these additional savings of our TIPCHEC activities or insulation activities? So I think also a very, very interesting standard to come. We also made a quick graphic here where you can see that the energy efficiency project, of course, like always, energy and CO2 savings are included, and you can calculate that. But then we will have, sorry, that was clicking. So you will have some safety benefits, some maintenance benefits, some productivity benefits. And if you calculate it all together, you see, like in the example before, very concretely that maybe the biggest amount doesn't come from the energy savings, but from the other benefits. And just to inform, in our brainstorm workshop session at the General Assembly we had in May, there was also, let's say, the idea not to forget the safety aspect. Safety is something very important, and it always, the TBI app automatically publishes a safety report if the surface temperature is too high. So even without the standard, we know in most of the cases where we insulate uninsulated equipment, we increase and improve safety for the workers. Good. Then we run the Insulation Key Mark Secretariat. There's a new organization called TIAC, Technical Insulation Association for Quality. And Luis is the Secretary General of it. I saw Pete, you as the chairman and president of this organization, also with us today. We presented the insulation. Hi, Pete. Nice for being here. Minna did a fantastic job. You see her here in the big auditorium. So there were all the gypsum and the insulation people in a very big auditorium. And Minna, in her charming way, made TIAC and the Insulation Key Mark very present. And we got very nice feedback from the participants of this conference when they came to the booth. Here you see Minna in action. Here you see myself a little bit in action. She's standing, I'm sitting. Well, that's maybe the difference in age then. So was successful and nice to present it here. And Pete, I think also at an EiiF information now, it's fair to say thank you very much for this fantastic cooperation. I think for EiiF and for the Insulation Key Mark, it's really offering a lot of opportunities, synergies, and we're very happy that TIAC and the Insulation Key Mark are on board, and we have the honor to run the Insulation Key Mark Secretariat. And Luis did a fantastic job. So a little bit sorry that he's not here today, but he's very present by the results and the work he does. Okay, then we come to the part lobbying, and I just need to check. Lobbying was still me, right, Minna? Good. So all the work over the past years we did has delivered this year quite some significant results on national member states. The first example I want to give you is the famous German Mittelfristen-Energieversorgungssicherungsverordnung. I don't think that anyone else in Europe can create a word monster like Mittelfristen-Energieversorgungssicherungsverordnung, but the Germans, we can do that. It's always a highlight in the presentation to do that. At the Global Insulation Conference, the last question was if I could repeat the name of this law once more. I won't do it now, but just to give you a quick idea, it's active since 1st of October of 2022, and there happened something to my slide. So let me just quickly move oh, that was wrong. Then we move it like this. In here that you get at least the English translation. So for companies above 10 gigawatt hours, since 1st October, anything that has been identified during an energy audit or an energy management, which has an attractive payback time of on average 2 years or less, has to be realized within the next 18 months. So you can imagine that in Germany, if there was a tip check because they needed it for the certification of the ISO 50001 energy management, now they have to do it. And they have to do it within the next 18 months. So this has, of course, a very big impact on insulation business. And this is maybe why we have 18 participants in the next German tip check training. So there is a significant increase in tip check demand. And of course, with all the good experience, we think this is will even further grow. We have also received a leaked version of the first draft of the new energy efficiency law, which will then be a continuous law. The NCMIMAF, which is the abbreviation of the monster, is valid until 2024. And the German government is now working on this new energy efficiency law. They're still in discussions, and this law sees a reduction of CO2 emissions to be tripled by 2030. So from 15 million to 36 to 41 million tons of CO2 must be reduced in German industry and Germany as such. Germany actually produces about 1/4 of all the emissions in the European Union. So out of 27 member states, out of the 40 megatons we can reduce in Europe, just Germany can deliver 10 megatons of CO2 in savings. And you can imagine if you need to go up from 50 million to 36 million, we will do some strong advocacy for this 10 megaton potential by upgrading the insulation systems in Germany. So that's a very big figure, and of course we will work with that with our German NIAP team. We come to our National Insulation Action Platform a little bit later. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I think I chose the design of the information hour, and then it somehow jeopardized the graphics here. So let me quickly also move in here and just make that a bit smaller so that you can read it. Yeah, so the law in principle, this new energy efficiency law obliges companies to implement the final energy saving measures identified, which are economically, and then in this law it won't be 18 months, it will be 20 months, but I think that is fast enough. The German government is quite aware that this will have some cost for the German industry, and that this is very different from case to case. What is very important is that the investment in insulation with today's energy and CO2 prices, the payback time is 1 year or less. So it pays back in the year of the investment. So we have something very, very attractive to offer to reduce 10 million tons of CO2 by upgrading insulation systems to an energy class C or even better B. So that's a strong job for us to do to further promote in Germany. And we will do that with the German team, of course. Just to quickly show this, there's also a communication campaign running in Germany where they recommend 6 instant fix to reduce energy consumption. And what is very nice, and I think for the first time, and we are pretty proud of that, they don't mention only insulation for buildings, but also technical insulation for industrial plants. And also energy consulting is one of the 6 instant fix. So EiiF is present with 2 things, technical insulation potential and tip check. So that's very good. And then we have what I've been talking about already, the new Dutch legislation starting on the 1st of January with the Onderzoekspflicht, sorry. I guess, Edward, you can say that much better than I, but in principle, the idea there is that the bigger companies have to do inspections and they have to prove that they do the inspections. And the best thing is they can either use the form from the government or they just hand in a tip check report. So this is why I said in the beginning, I think the demand for tip check services in the Netherlands will have a significant increase next year. I would be very surprised if not. And if there are any Dutch engineers who could become a tip check engineer, we have some places left for the international training. Would be great to join this training and to use this opportunity next year in the Dutch market. I also know, Edward, you did a tip check online session with Saint-Gobain Isoware to present tip check and the tip check idea. I think this is something very, very valuable, very successful, and usually you get very positive feedback when you organize things like this. So also to encourage all of you, use your tip check services and skills to promote it online via online sessions and link it to the latest legislation in your market. This is really a business driver. Okay. Then I was talking before about the EiiF team. So of course, I think there flies something more in. Yeah. So we have different countries with different levels of activities, but in principle, we are very happy. Austria is very active. Hungary with our new member, well, not new anymore, and we will see participation in our tip check training in 10 days. Also, Poland is very active. In Switzerland, the ESOL Swiss has produced a new brochure image flyer to promote, let's say, technical installation. So that's a great exchange where we all learn from each other, where we update each other what is happening on the different levels. And the next EiiF meeting is next Friday, same time, almost same location, I could say. Then brand new, we had our first PR public relations team meeting with also a great participation. This is an initiative by our members, and we want to coordinate a bit with other lobbying organizations, more powerful, more professional than we are, for example, like EUREMA, to coordinate, to exchange, and to provide them with the information we have that they can also use it better in the work they do. And the first meeting was on 11 November. The next one is on 13th January. And this is really to coordinate the work we do in Brussels, but also on member state level. And you're all invited with your public relations experts to join this group and to help us, to do the right thing and don't miss any, let's say, latest developments on legislation, let's say, in different member states, but also in the European Union. And Monday, I will travel by train, 6 hours, 40 minutes to Antwerp. The comment with the train is, of course, on purpose. So 0 CO2 to the Zero conference. I think that's quite consequent. And hopefully it will also be comfortable. And I have to thank all the sponsors here, our members. We managed to get 1,000 euro sponsoring donations for this conference from those 11 members you see here: Paroc, Isoware, Rockwool, Bauder, Component, Knauf, Installation Amacell, TIAC, again, Foam Glass, K-Flex, and FESI as our sister organization. So very happy for the support. And already the invitations and organizations and the several contacts I had in the preparation of the pre-conference workshops with the Commission, but also with others, is really beneficial to, at the end of the year, promote EiiF and technical installation as such. I see that Yves Boons is with us today. He will do a quick presentation about Walk the Talk and the Tip for Best Tip Check program inside the Saint-Gobain Isoware Group, or the Saint-Gobain Group, but delivered by Saint-Gobain Isoware, followed by a presentation on the large savings potential of storage tanks from Rockwool Technical Installation that will be done by Senior Tip Check Engineer Stefan Reichinger. So that will be a very interesting conference, and I know that some of you will be there, and I'm really looking forward to meet you in Antwerp and to participate in this important conference and event short before the end of the year. And with this, we come to building awareness, which gives me a break and hand over to Minna. I will stop sharing, Minna, so that you can guide through the slides yourself. And thanks from my side until here for everyone listening to all what I had to say. Minna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andreas. Yeah, happy to give you a break. Thank you. Okay, we are moving to building awareness, and this is, of course, very important part of one of our fields of activity, informing about the benefits of insulation, creating fact sheets, infographics, and research studies, promotion on LinkedIn, which we have started doing now, and also other social media platforms. I would like to present first our social media campaign. It was actually our first proper social media campaign. At the end of July, the EU member states agreed to reduce their gas demand by 15% this winter. And at that stage, at the end of July, the EU Council had not yet adopted this regulation. So we jumped in and created this social media campaign to really create visibility for the proposal and to support it so that it would be eventually accepted by EU Council, which it was, of course, on 5th of August. We shared our idea also in different languages with our members and TipCheck engineers, and with the ready-to-use text or what to post on either LinkedIn or any other social media platform. We got nearly 40 posts from individual or corporate LinkedIn accounts. And on over a few days at the start of August, really, I saw this infographic, this image a lot, and it's very colorful and striking. So I think here we really made maybe a small difference, I hope. You can see also in the middle here that there was really a big spike in the activity on our LinkedIn account. As I said, we shared it with our members and TipCheck engineers, and it was very nice. Here, Andreas started, of course, in German, using the German infographic, and then we had this posted by many of our TipCheck engineers from all over Europe. And also here, the last one, I just want to show you here on the bottom right corner, there's the French one that Romain used. We have a new, what we call an info paper. So this is here actually we can, I will show you this. This is really sort of also part of our lobbying action. On this paper, we didn't really get the permission, but it was endorsed by Andreas. Can you maybe sort of explain here like a little bit better what
we got the permission. So actually we asked the government,
I don't want to say it if we didn't get it.
So we asked if we can integrate this Energiewechsel German campaign, where I said 6 instant fixes for industry are recommended. One is technical installation and the other one is the energy consulting. And the campaign is actually made to join. So it was very easy to get the permission to print this, let's say, campaign logo on our brochure. But like this, of course, we upgrade this with a message from the German government. We can send out the info paper.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that a little bit better. So from here, I will actually start explaining to you what these are. So we have 2 different versions. We have the TipCheck version, and then we have the TBI version, and they are created now in different languages. I will show you in a minute. And also they can be customized. We have ready to send versions as well. So here as an example is the TipCheck one. So the first page on the left here is always the same. And the idea was to create something that you see and then you get immediately, and it will stay with you, that you can see that there was an investment, but it really grew. It paid itself back quickly, and the savings grew. And then on the second page, we will have a little bit more detail on we will give you an example and what the benefits are, why it's a good idea to insulate, And then you can, if with the PDF writer, you can add in your own contact details and your logo. There's a QR code that links to our TipCheck page, but also this could link to your company's own website, promoting your own TipCheck services. The TBI version here, the same first page, and then on the second page, this is really aimed at the national insulation associations who could put their own contact details into the what I have here, put an orange rectangle, and also the logo. And the idea is that instead of coming back to us, they would go to the National Insulation Association. We also have ready to share versions that have EiiF as the contact, and also we have a QR code in the TipCheck document, as I said, that links to the TipCheck page, and the TBI links to our TBI website. This is actually a very nice example of how the EiiF community is very dynamic, and we actually work together with our members and our TipCheck engineers. So this is now available in 6 languages. Yes, I had to count and double check because we had the Dutch one just come in. And our members and engineers actually helped us translate these documents, and so we are really grateful for this. And not just that, but it's also really fun to be in contact with our members. And this is for me, this is really a highlight of working for EiiF, is you really feel like you are working together. These are all available, and I have shared with our members and engineers the OneDrive link, where you can access the documents and you can use them as you wish. You can add your own contact details, or you can use the ones that have ours. I will also share this with you after the meeting so that you can access the documents. With this one, as well as the social media campaign, we asked everyone to use it and post it, create visibility, and we got that again. So here we have different languages. Here we have Italian and German. And then we had someone posting, Lukas, our TipCheck engineer, posting in Polish using the English. And Laura, who is our TipCheck engineer, also posting this. And I think that the more you see something like this infographic, then it's more likely that you will remember it. So please don't hesitate to use it either to promote your own TipCheck services, or to convince your client why it's a good idea to insulate. And then moving on to our EiiF membership. I would like to welcome our new members. We have Inspro, who was the first one this year to join from Turkey. And then we have from the Netherlands, we have Branten Isolate Technieken. Sorry for my pronunciation. And we actually, I think we have Barry here, Barry Branson from BIT, who has joined us. And in fact, also at Branten Isolate, we work with Jorik, who is Barry's brother, and who actually translated the Dutch info paper that I just presented. So here is a good example of a new member who we are working with. And from Hungary, we have Dinotech. And I think I saw Daniel is in the meeting here, and also Daniel and Karoli, also from Dinotech. They are participating in our TipCheck training later this month and are going to be trained as TipCheck engineers. Then we also have from the UK, AIC Limited. We had a participant in our TipCheck training earlier this year. And from Inspro also, let's just mention that we have a TipCheck engineer. So this is very nice cooperation with all 4 new members. We were lucky to be able to organize a General Assembly this year. We couldn't, for obvious reasons, because of the pandemic. So this year we wanted to do something nice. to have all the meetings that we would needed to have anyway, but we thought that why not have it in a very nice location. Also a little bit to celebrate the fact that we can get together physically. So we organized our General Assembly in Mallorca. It was at the end of May, and it included, we started with the membership board meeting, followed immediately by a foundation board meeting, and we had a very nice evening program. The following day, we had our General Assembly, and it was more interactive. We had nice workshops that we had that took place outside. And here we have a link. Andreas, so shall I show it, or did you have it already?
I do it already. I would just click on play,
okay.
Minna.
Yeah, perfect. So we have a 2-minute video that we would like to show you.
Okay, so that's it. So just next year, we will also organize the General Assembly in May, and the location is Lisbon. I don't think we have the date yet because we are waiting for the board meeting. And we hope to do something similar. So in the past, we were always very reduced and just having had working meetings. But after the COVID break, we said we need to do something nice. And then the feedback from everyone who participated was so positive that we said we should continue and rather do it at a nice location in spring than in November, in the November rain at some, let's say, very industrial environment where we usually did it. Yeah, feel invited, and hopefully it made some appetite to join us at the next real physical General Assembly in the wonderful Portuguese capital, Lisbon. And we will announce as soon as possible the date in 2023. Good.
Andreas,
then
Andreas, may I take over the slide? Yeah, because I think it's somehow nicer that I present this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very nice sign that the work that EiiF does together with its members is really being noticed. As Andreas says, this award, the Global Installation Personality of the Year award that he received earlier this month at the Global Installation Conference, is really an award for the whole EiiF community. But it is also a wonderful recognition of the personal dedication of Andreas. So because he's really the driving force behind the projects that we do, and I'm very proud to work with Andreas.
I knew I wanted to skip this slide because that makes me feel a bit, well, it makes me super happy, and thank you to all of you who liked the post on LinkedIn and the very wonderful feedback. So makes me very proud and very happy. So thanks to the community. And as Minna, as you said rightly, I think the award is really for all of us, and it's very nice and active inter-exchange. We have seen all the examples, how the cooperation works, and of course we hope that we will continue like this, and then we will win some more awards in the future maybe. Good, then let's go to the last 3 minutes on the clock. So in the pipeline is the TipCheck tool, and we really do hope that it will be, the whole programming will be in steps. So the estimation function is there. With the estimation function, we have already set the basis that in the end, if you use this tool, you can change the colors of the report to your corporate colors. Of course, you can use your own company logo, and you will be able to use this tool from the first step, like the acquisition with the estimation function, to the second step, which is then the inspection. So what the TBI app is today will be in this browser-based tool included. So you can actually insert all the data about your client at the estimation, you take it to the plant with you, and you do the inspection, and you inspect 50 to 150 or whatever amount of components. Then you go back to the office with the same tool, but you switch from your mobile device to your laptop. You get a friendly environment tailored to the laptop screen, and there you can design your solution. You can upload even a price list, and then you just click on a PDF button like you do today in the TBI app, and it will print your TipCheck report. So we are absolutely convinced that this will facilitate and accelerate a lot the work for a TipCheck engineer. And it's already planned that we will have a workshop with some of the senior TipCheck engineers to rebuild the curriculum of the TipCheck training then all around this new tool. For those who are participating now, the only difference is that we start with the estimation function on the browser, we jump to the TBI app on the mobile device, and then we go back to the laptop and the TipCheck calculator. And of course, the experienced TipCheck engineers know, and they have built some workaround how to write the report fast and efficiently. But all this is planned, let's say summer next year, hopefully, that we can provide you one tool, and that will speed up the whole process for you very much. So that's in the pipeline, and that brings me 1 minute before the end to ask if there are any questions, anything. Maybe now you've been listening for 60 minutes online. I can imagine that you're maybe very tired, but we tried with changing and even putting a film there to keep it as entertaining as we can. And if there are no questions, I think we manage. And Silke, you said you will mark that in your calendar if an EiiF meeting ends on time. Okay, you can mark the 18th of November. That was it. Thank you very much to all of you for participating. Thank you very much, Minna, for the great preparation and all the organization and setting it up. And nice to have this exchange at the end of the year. Looking forward to meeting some of you in Antwerp next week, some of you at the TipCheck trainings, and then hopefully most of you at our General Assembly in Lisbon in May next year. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Nice weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.